Once upon a time, there was a farmer who had 3 sons, and the farmer was old, and he was lying on his deathbed. And he called his 3 sons and he said, whichever one of you can fill this small farmhouse with one thing, fill it from top to bottom, from corner to corner, whichever one of you can fill the house, you will have the house when I am gone. And immediately, the eldest son stood up and said, Father, I know how to fill the house. Wait. And the eldest son went running out of the house and he went to the stable. And he fetched the horse. There was just one horse, but it was a great horse. And he put reins around the horse and he led the horse back towards the house. And the horse was so big it had to bend his head low to get through the doorway and into the farmhouse. And there that great horse stood. Its nose against one corner, its tail flicking the other corner, its ears tickling the rafters in the roof. I mean, that was a big horse. And next to it was the old man's bed. Father, look! The horse has filled the house. Let me see. And the old man got out of bed and he looked. It's true that he fills the house from corner to corner, but top to bottom. His ears tickle the rafters. But here, there is space above his back. And here, there is space around his legs. My son, the house is not full. And he got back into his bed. And the second son said, Father, I know how to fill the house. I know exactly what to do. And the second son, he got up and he took the horse and he led the horse out of the house and over to the barn. Now the barn was filled with hay. Hay, long, fresh-cut grass that was to feed the animals. And he fixed that great horse to the cart. And he took the pitchfork and he pitched the hay into the cart. Fuller and fuller and fuller until it was high with hay, until it was full. And then he led that horse back to the house. Can you imagine what he did? He pitched the hay into the house. Forkful by forkful of that dry grass was pitched through the door and into the house, and the house became fuller and fuller and fuller. The old man in his bed was covered with hay. The hay filled the house right to the very top and into the rafters. And when he had finished pitching the hay, he pushed his way into the house, through to his father in his old bed. And he said, Father, I filled the house. The house will be mine. The old man pushed his way out of the bed. Well, the house does seem full. And he pushed his way through the hay to one side and reaches that corner. And he pushed his way through the hay. He's filled to this corner. He just filled to the bottom. And the old man reached up into the rafters and he said, but my son, the hay is beginning to settle. And as it settles, there is a small space at the top. The house is not full. Take it out. And the second son, with the help of his elder brother, he pitched all that hay back out of the house. And the horse led the cart back to the barn, and the hay was put back in the barn, and the horse was put back in the stable, and the 2 older brothers came back and sat next to their father's bed. It is impossible. The house could not be filled. They didn't even think about the youngest brother, whose name was Jack. Now, Jack was a fool. He wasn't clever, not like you. He wasn't clever at all. And Jack had no ideas in his head. But now, I tell you, we are nearly at the end of the story. And already in your head, you have an idea about how this story could finish. So what I'd like you to do is to turn to the person next to you and listen to their idea for how the story could finish.
My idea is that the third son hasn't got any ideas, but the old man likes him very much, and so the house is full of love.
Full of?
Love.
And the three brothers sat next to the old man's bed, and they all felt gloomy and sad. And the old man thought, who am I going to leave my house to? My two older sons couldn't fill the house, and my younger son, there's no chance. He's hopeless. But the youngest son, Jack, he felt a bit miserable. There was such a poor atmosphere. So he did what he always did when people were unhappy. He went over to the corner of the room and he reached down and he pulled out his guitar. And he sat down and he began to strum. And as he strummed his guitar, well, his two brothers stopped feeling quite so miserable. And Jack began to sing. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. And as he played, his brothers started to rock to and fro, and his old man father began to nod in his bed. Well, woke up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. Three little birds is by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. And the brothers and the father, they began to sing. And the women of the house, they came from outside, and hearing the music, they began to sing as well. And as they sang, they started to rock to Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. And they started to dance. Don't worry around the house about a thing. Even the old man got out of his bed. As every little thing is gonna be alright. And they danced and danced until suddenly Jack's old father cried out, this is it! The house is full. The house is full of music. And not only have you filled the house with music, Jack, you have filled the house with love. You have filled the house with happiness. You have filled the house with goodwill. For look how all the neighbours have come in and everybody is dancing. Jack, the house is yours. Jack carried on playing and said, well, Father, you know, I like company. And when you die, if you have to die, I'll share the house with my brothers and my sisters. We'll all live in the house together. And that's what they did. And they always remembered the old man every time they gathered to sing. Those who could dance, danced, and those who couldn't dance, sang songs. And those who couldn't sing and couldn't dance, they told stories.